Morning everyone, it's Audrey, Stitchy42. It is Monday, June 11th, and I actually know the date because yesterday was June 10th. It was Mark's and my 35th wedding anniversary yesterday, and we had a great day together. I actually managed to get the days off from work. Had a guy come in who used to do books for us to cover me, and so Mark and I got to spend a day together on our anniversary. Who would think that that would be such a difficult thing? But my counterpart at work, she and her wife have 2 graduates this year. So this is a busy weekend for them too. So she couldn't cover me. So we actually had to go outside the store and get somebody else to come in so that she could have her weekend off to do her graduation stuff and I could have yesterday off to do my anniversary stuff. And we had a great day. And I have a story to tell you a little bit later about some chocolates. So make a note here on my notes so that I tell you about that. So last week when I did my organizational video, and I was talking about going and looking at Lori Mischievous Stitches and seeing her organization, I actually caught the video where she was talking about that, and it's not hers. It was Mary's organization. On Instagram, Mary is Stitcher211. And if you haven't seen Lori's videos, or if you haven't seen the pictures of Mary's organization stuff, go look at it because it will just blow you away. I'm happy I got some work done on my organizing upstairs. I didn't do anything Monday with it, but Tuesday I started doing some work, and everybody had left comments saying get rid of the old shelf paper that was in there and get new liner for in there, and to try to look for acid free. Well, I went to High School Pharmacy here in town, and while they had several shelf liners, they didn't have any that said that they were acid-free. So I just went ahead and got that rubberized shelf liner and used that instead until I can find acid-free somewhere else. This will work. So Tuesday is Girl Day at my house. It is the day that my 2 granddaughters, Miss Rowan and Miss Riley, come over after school, and we spend a couple of hours together and we do whatever we decide we're going to do. Well, when they came over, I had one of the big drawers downstairs, and I was measuring it to get this new liner put into it. Donna Ray, I want you to know that I got all my fabrics out, all my cross-stitching fabrics out, and I ironed every single one of them. Maybe not to Pat Ryan standards, but I ironed every single piece of cross-stitching fabric that I had, except for the stuff that comes in tubes or was the Charles Craft even weave, but I got those in the drawer while the girls were here, and then I asked them if they would carry it upstairs for me, because while I could take it downstairs empty by myself with my leg and feet issues, getting it upstairs wasn't going to happen. So they said yes. My girls are really good. They helped me out a lot. And Rowan went up first. Riley went up behind her, and they kind of had it at an angle like this, so things were sliding. And I said, Riley, I said, lift your end up so that it's more level, and I said things won't slide. And I said, and then you can look down at the stairs to see where you're stepping. She goes, that's okay, Grandma, you can see where I'm going. I said, that's okay, because I'm coming up behind you and I'm looking at your butt. She goes, Grandma, that's kind of awkward. And I said, no, it's not. I said, I'm your grandma. I saw that butt when it was born, and I wiped that butt when you were a baby, and I will look at that butt until the day I die. Oh, okay. I said the same thing to my son. I don't care. As long as it's family, I don't care. I occasionally check out at male butt and a nice pair of jeans, because that's only normal. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, the girls and I went to the park after they took the drawer upstairs for me. And I got some more stitching done on my Witch on Duty. And I ironed it today for you. Okay, here it is. This is why I am not going to have enough room for the whole thing, because I started too low. But here's what I'm doing. And I got started on the broom. We'll get to that. But can you see how the cat is patchy? It's the same floss as this one over here, and the same as that one on the brim. I wanted to use the same floss on both the cat and the hat, but I wanted them to look different. I didn't want a striped cat. I wanted a patchy cat. And I'm doing it by, you know, little 3-inch square, or 3-stitch squares. 3, 3, 3. And then moving my floss around, and I'm getting a patchy look. So that's where I'm at with Witch on Duty. Thursday, I was supposed to go to the meetup at Acorns and Threads, and I woke up with a sinus headache. I woke up about 4 o'clock in the morning, and my forehead and my sinuses, and it's always this side right here, just hurt. So I got up and I had a cup of coffee, because sometimes the coffee, and I don't think it's so much the caffeine as the warmth from the drink that helps. It really didn't help, and I was only up maybe long enough to have that cup of coffee, and I went back to bed. And then I think I woke up, it was almost 8, and my face was still not good. Got up, had something to eat for breakfast, went back to bed, and I didn't wake up until just after noon, and the meetup starts at 1. I probably could have gone up there and made it late, but I know how I am when I get these sinus headaches. They just kind of, you feel all drugged out and dopey all day long because your head just hurts so bad. So I didn't go up on Thursday. Instead, I went up on Saturday. Lori, textilist, had posted on Pacific Northwest Stitchers that, was there anybody going to Acorns and Threads on Saturday? And I replied to her and I said, well, I get off work at 1, and it's only about 15-20 minutes from where I work. I said I could meet you after 1. So we planned on doing that, and we got there, and because it's a Saturday, they usually have tables set up outside for people to be stitching at. And when I got there, there was 2 tables out there, and there were stuff at several of the places, but there were no people. So I went inside, and Janine wasn't there because she's at a show, but Lori and Lisa from the shop were there, and I said, is it okay if I sit here and wait until my Lori gets here and stitch a little bit? And she goes, well, as long as the other ladies don't come back, because Saturdays you're supposed to stitch outside. And I said, okay. Lori came in, and then I used her as an excuse for sitting there and stitching because I was waiting for her to do her shopping and everything. So again, I was working on this, and I had finished up a strand of floss on the cat, and then I started working on the broom. And because I wanted to get the placement of it right, I totally folded the crap out of the pattern to get things lined up so that I could figure out where to get this broom going. But I like the way that that is looking so far, and I think this is coming along fantastically. So I'm hoping to have that finished in the not too near future, because when I get this done, then maybe I can get started on the Summer of Salem stitch along. I had purchased for that, it's upstairs so you don't get to see it, Excuse me while I check my notes, because I know I wrote it down here a while back. Talk amongst yourselves, or just stitch for a moment or two. The video, Salem Stitcherhood. That's it. Hi there, hi, I'm back. Yeah. Salem Stitcherhood. So I had bought 2 of these patterns, and I sent one to Amy DeVille. And the whole purpose was to do them as part of, not necessarily a stitch along, a separate stitch along with a stitch along. Yeah, I don't do that. But that was the piece that I got to do this. And Amy's group, the Stitchers Coven, when I get started, I will get pictures posted there. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and get that started. When I'm done with Witch on Duty, and since there's, you know, that whole 3-month stitching time, I'll have plenty of time to finish this, which technically this qualifies. It's Witch on Duty. So it's witchy. And it's stitchy. Stitchy witch. Yeah, I like the way that works. So anyway, plans. That was my plans. Wednesday night, I worked on my Alphonse Mucha. Turn, because I brought her in here. There you go. If you want to see what she looks like, you're going to have to go look at my Instagram to see the picture, because I didn't bring it in here. But I've been stitching down this side and working on this bit of the scarf coming down. And I'm actually really pleased with the progress that I've made on this. You know, there's a lot of confetti in there. You can see all the holes that are up here. And those are all individual stitches of something. But since this is the way I stitch across all 3 pages at one time. I try to stay within like a 30-row space going back and forth across. I end up with those pieces, those empty spaces. And then what I do is I go, okay, I'm going to go back and I'm going to take this color and I'm going to fill it in, and I'm going to take this color and I'm going to fill it in. You all know how that works. I don't have to explain to you. But I'm falling back in love with her again right now. There was a period of time, just a little bit higher on this one, that I was not happy with it. But you can see this is the scarf hanging off of her arm. This is the outline of her hip. But I'm seeing details again, so I am enjoying it when I see that. And I like the way that she's looking. So I got a lot of love on her this week. So I was really, really pleased with that. Okay. Yesterday was Mark's and my anniversary. We got to spend the day together, and our plan was he had to spend some time in the morning out working on his Jeep because he's in the painting process of it. And he has to, when he paints something, he has to give it a day or so to dry, and then he has to go in and sand before he can do the next layer of paint. And if he doesn't do it within a certain time frame because of car paint and stuff like that I don't understand, it's like he has to start over. I don't know. Anyway, he needed a couple hours to go work on his Jeep. I am telling you, I am so impressed with what that man can do. But when he got done, we decided that we were going to go spend the day going out to garage sales. And it rained. It's Oregon. It rains a lot. But we went anyway because there, you know, people still have their garage sales. One of the places that I've always liked doing garage sales at is when you have like a mobile home court and they do it court-wide, and you'll have a half a dozen or more. We went to 2 of those yesterday, and There was only 2 or 3 open in each one, but that was okay. I found a windsock that I had to have for $2 because it's a witch. It's the witch from the cartoon version, the Disney version of Snow White. Not the queen when she's the queen, but the witch when she's the witch. For $2, I had to have it. I'm toying with the idea of seeing if I can hook it to the antenna on my car and have it fly along with me as I'm driving. I probably won't, but it's an idea. So we're driving around and we're doing these garage sales, and I don't know what it was. I remembered that I had bought 2 chocolate truffles to share with Mark. And I told him, I said, oh yeah, in the refrigerator there's 2 chocolate truffles for us. And he reaches over and he puts his hand on my knee and he goes, no, Audrey, there's only 1 in the refrigerator. And I looked at him and I go, why did you eat it? And he goes, well, Friday night, he goes, I went out to close up stuff in the shop, and when I came out, you'd already gone upstairs to bed. And I said, and so you had to eat chocolate because I went to bed? And I said, and by the way, that's not what happened. I said, we were watching television, the show ended, I got up and told you while you were sleeping in your chair that I was going to bed. You stood up, you kissed me goodnight and said that you would be up in a few minutes. I went upstairs and you came up, I don't know what time later, and I said, but still, why did you have to eat the chocolate truffle? And he goes, well, I came in and you weren't there and I was sad, and they say that chocolate makes you happy, so I ate the chocolate truffle. He's mine. I've had him for 35 years. 37, actually. He's mine. He ate the chocolate because he was sad. Yeah, right. He saw chocolate in the refrigerator and he couldn't wait. We went out to lunch that day. Later on, we went out to dinner, and then we went and watched the movie Solo, and I actually thought it was pretty good. So, there you go. My other project that I am working on is this piece, Midnight Journey, from the Leisure Arts book, and I started working on this again. I had worked on it a bit, and then I left it, and I told you about all the quarter stitches and everything. When I came back, I had a piece of floss hanging there, and I couldn't figure out, I knew what color it was, but I couldn't figure out where the stitch went. And I looked at this thing, and I looked at this thing, and I looked at this thing, and I could not figure out where the next stitch went. So I posted a picture on Instagram, and then I went back and I started at it from a different angle, figured out where that stitch went eventually, and I got my first 2 reindeer done. And I've done some more work since then. So this is where I'm at. You can see the 2 reindeer, and I am using the reins to figure out where to start my next reindeer. And this one is the one that goes back to the sleigh. But I am absolutely loving the way that it looks on this fabric. And you can see the modeling, the lighter colors and everything. I think this looks like a starry night. And there will be some stitch stars around there, and there will be a moon up here where I have my Hogwarts needle minder. So, yeah, I got the back stitch done on these 2, so you can actually see that there are 2 reindeer there. There will be a total of 6 reindeer, and then Santa and his sleigh. So I'm really, really happy with how everything is kind of coming along right now. In between garage sailing yesterday and going out to dinner, I did get to watch some Flosstube, and I was watching Helen D, East Coast Crafter. Well, she's East Coast Crafter on Instagram. She's Helen D on YouTube. Is that right? Anyway, I'm sitting there stitching, and all of a sudden she's mentioning my name. She got ink circles, elegant squid. I love that pattern. I just think that it is so pretty and so unusual, and I am excited that she's going to be stitching it. I had sent my pattern on to Vicky, Stitchin' Buttons, so she's going to be stitching it. I like the ink circles. I just think that they are absolutely lovely. So, Helen, I can't wait to see the start on yours. And while I like the turquoise color that you found, get a variegated one. It's going to be so much prettier. Or do what you want, and it will be beautiful. Anyway, and I wanted to wish happy anniversary to Sharon. She is Sharonsstitching on Instagram. She is a commenter on my videos all the time. She said she and her husband had their 35th anniversary here just a couple of days before Mark's and mine. So happy anniversary, Sharon. And she is the one that is working on Evening in the Shire. So go check out her pictures on Instagram, because I may have a thing for hobbity things. I have to get that pattern, the 11sies and the breakfast and second breakfast and 11s and lunch and afternoon tea and dinner, and yeah. It's in here. I'm going to get it. And the last thing that I can think to talk about is the cookbook that people are going to be putting together. Crafty, Angi, and Stitchin.Misfits. I'm not going to try to mention their names because, honestly, I'm drawing a blank. But I like their idea for doing the cookbook with cooking with Flosstube, whether you do Flosstube videos or you just watch Flosstube videos, and them putting it together and then selling it for charity. I think it's a fantastic idea. And I have a recipe that I want to submit, so I'm going to do that too. Anyway, I think I have covered all the things that I needed to cover today. Say all the things that I wanted to say. Yep, I told you about the chocolate story, so we're good. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Do all the things. Stitch all the things. Be nice to each other. Live long and stitch on, my friends. Bye-bye.